All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 2G1C. And I'm with my boy. I've been doing like a ton of episodes lately because I'm trying to stock up for Florida. Welcome back, Daniel Underation. I'm so glad you're here, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, this is so awesome, bro. Like how often do we talk? Maybe like once every 2 weeks or so.
I like to make it more, but
Dude,
yeah,
I know.
probably that.
And I'm sorry, and it's definitely my fault that we don't. And I want you to know that.
I've got a busy life.
Dude, can I start us off with a like fire icebreaker, bro?
Yeah.
So, I was at the gym last week, and you know me, I'm like the mayor of the Green Y.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows me, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm always talking to everyone. And I walk in, and one of my buddies that I know is talking to another buddy I know, okay? Keep tracking. And one of the guys, last time I talked to him, is he said he wanted to be a state trooper, okay? And so he's talking to my buddy, and I do my like witty conversation butt in thing, and I'm like, hey, like, watch how you talk to him. That guy's a state trooper. He's like, no, dude, I failed the test. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, like the physical part is the easy part, I guess, is what he said. I don't know if he was trying to flex or anything, but that's what he said. He said, I failed the mental evaluation. I was like, what are you talking about? So he was telling me about it. And he was like, when you're getting interviewed to be a police officer or law enforcement, whatever, you do, what's the lie detector thing called where they strap it up to you?
I think it's just called a lie detector.
Yeah.
I think.
Or no, it's a polygraph examination.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right. And he's like, dude, like, you know, that's the part I failed. I'm like, well, what happened? He's like, well, bro, they ask you every type of question. So he was telling me about, like, you know, they ask you about your childhood and even things that maybe don't even relate to criminal activity. I don't know. And so he was like, dude, I think I know why I failed. It's one of two things. And he was like, there was a question he asked me about, like, smoking weed and, like, you know, if I've ever smoked weed and it's legal. And he says that he did smoke while it was legal, but he was real upset because the guy gave him a super hard time about smoking weed. I was like, oh, so you think that's why you failed? And he's like, bro, but like the other one I told him, it was like really like gnarly. Is he asked him, he was like, have you ever traded like money or drugs for sex? He's like, well, I haven't. And he's like, why did you like say it like that? And he's like, well, like, I've never done something like that. And he's like, son, like, please be honest with me. And this guy, this kid, he was like, well, when I was 17, okay, he was at the LA Fitness in like the Cuyahoga Falls there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And he was like, I was walking out to my car and some old dude comes up to me and he's like, let me suck you off for $400. And he was like, I go to my car and I tell him no. And then I get to my car and I contemplate. He's like, you know what? That's $400. And he kind of had to let the guy interviewing him know that maybe he didn't pay, but he did get paid for.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so now you know.
Well,
Ladies and
dude,
gentlemen, welcome back.
I have a funny story about that polygraph. So I have a buddy.
Yeah.
And he was a police officer. He stopped.
Yeah.
And then he went back and interviewed for another department.
Okay.
And in that polygraph interview, they asked him, because he has a daughter,
Yeah.
if he's ever had sexual thoughts about his own daughter. And she's like 2 years old.
What?
I know.
That's wild.
Except, like, that's the story that I was told by him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, like, weird, bro.
But I think that that's part of, like, this is going to sound awful, like it's justifying that type of weird question, but, like, you do want police officers to be very mentally fit to handle anything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
And, like, like, if there was somebody that was lying when they said no, you probably would not want them to be a police officer.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I
But
guess we.
still, when you're not the guy that would like ever have those thoughts about your own daughter, it would probably piss you off to hear that
Yeah,
question.
like it's very farce and it's
Yeah.
very like yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 2G1C. Like I said, I'm here with my buddy Daniel. Last time we sat down, dude, was maybe not fresh after your daughter was born, but kind of in that realm of being so new.
Yeah, she was probably, I would say, 5 months old.
Yeah, dude. And it's like what, a year later? I think it's like almost a year later
Just
to like
about, yeah.
yeah, dude. And we're back and dude, I'm so glad that we're sitting down and like, I think like the first time I really wanted to dig into that and stuff, and we'll get into that a little bit, but dude, I just want to like chill with you, bro.
Dude, that'd be great.
Like I'm leaving soon and like it just like
To never return.
I know, dude. We'll see. We'll see what that kind of looks like and stuff. But I'm excited to leave, but I'm more excited to be here, bro. Dude, since our last time sitting down, obviously we've talked and we've gotten together and I've seen you and stuff. What have you learned in terms of relationship wise, not with your daughter, but with the missus? Obviously I'm with a female now. Shout out Delaney. She's absolutely marvelous. And I think I'm in love, believe it or not, dude.
I hope so.
Dude, yeah, bro. She is so freaking awesome, dude. And I love her to death. And it's different from all the others. And I tell people all the time, because I talk about you all the time, is I'm like, if there's a guy that is so fit to be a father, I really think it's you, bro. What have you learned, one, in terms of your relationship with the missus, and then we'll move on to kind of the little one as well? Like, how do you keep that sane and together? And you know what I mean?
Yeah, forgive
Mm-hmm.
is probably the biggest one, but I think anybody will tell you that, and I'm not that seasoned to give advice, but I think that, like, I've been forgiven a million times,
Yeah.
and I forgive her anytime that I can, and so I think that that's probably the biggest thing, and the other thing is learning ticks. Like, I feel like we talked about it last time, like, the way that we did it, it was so quick. Like, we're having a child and we're
Mm-hmm.
building a mature relationship, and it just, you move in so quickly together and you learn each other's ticks, and the family that she came from and the way that they ran a house and the family that I came from and the way that, like, my house was run, and you kind of have to learn to merge, and
Yeah.
the forgiveness comes on the in between where the differences are. Like, the way that she grew up was different than me, and the way that I grew up was different than her. And so when they don't merge right away, you learn to forgive each other,
Yeah.
and learn that, okay, that's coming from their childhood, and that's the deepest part of them.
I see.
And what is different about me came from my childhood, and that's the deepest part of me. And
Yes.
so you're not just going to grab that and uproot it and change it right away. You just have to either learn how to live with it or learn how to together work through it.
Yes. I think, like, obviously, I'm not where you are and stuff, but with mine and stuff, I've been in past relationships before, but I can very easily say that this is the best man I've been for someone else, for her. You know what I mean? And I think, like, a lot of it for me is just thinking about where my feelings and thoughts come from and realizing that so much of that is pride when it comes to wanting to say certain things or do certain things, and I have had to not suppress that, but or maybe suppress is the word, but kind of focus on what's really important. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, you said that you feel like you're the best man that you have been. Do you think that she plays any part in that? And if so, why? Because it's a leading question.
I think like I think she so she's very like well thought out and she's proper and she's put together, and don't get me wrong, like, I don't shower every day if I'm not working, okay? That's kind of like who I am. It's like I'm super chill. And like if I'm going over to her family's house in the morning for breakfast, I'm not like getting ready or anything. Like she gets ready and all that stuff. But I think so have I told you how we met when we met, me and her? We
I
met
believe so,
we
but I
met
don't remember.
we met at the Green Y,
Mm-hmm.
and she was on one of the benches, and I went up and said what's good, and we've been talking ever since. That's like so like the short version and stuff. But I've talked about it a lot. But like the second question I ever asked her, first was, what on earth is in your giant gym bag? And two, is Christ a big part of your life?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, it is. And she was kind of like freaked out 'cause she's like, what's going on? But her dad he was a pastor, and her mom loves the Lord. And I truly believe that not only have like I've been called to like be such a steward of her personality, of her like happiness and all this stuff, but my faith has been deepened, and not just by her but by her family as well. And that's very much an answered prayer.
Do you think that like she pulls the best things out of you by being like her
Okay,
best
yes.
traits?
Okay, yes. I talk to her like she's my little like cuddly bear. Like I'm like, hi baby bear, I love you, boo boo. Like I'm super soft and
Got
like
the soft side, yeah.
and like I used to be like in all my relationships before, there was always a part of me that was like tough.
Like a wall.
Or like, I'm not gonna do this or listen to this music or whatever. Which is like mad toxic. But I've learned that with her, I'm like so happy, and it's very childish, and it's very like I used to be like, dude, like that would be so cringe if like I acted the way that I do now back then. Does
Yeah,
that
it's
make
kind of
sense?
like a wall.
Yeah, and so now like when I text her or when I call her on the phone, like I'm just like I just love her so much that like my whole world is that, and I want to treasure that so much, and I'm like softer
Dude,
because of it.
I think you're dancing around like a very major thing in male and female relationships, and it is the male desire to like the dumb song that she puts on that you wouldn't listen to in the past,
Yes.
but you love her and it makes her smile, that you can enjoy that with her. Or like
Yes.
the when I come home and there's another house project and like or they ask for something and it's like how money's a thing, and but I want to see you smile. Like I think that that is a major thing that I think that if women understood about men, men want to see you smile
Dude,
when
yes.
they love you. And I tell Emma the same thing all the time because like we have a house and we have a baby and like we have a family and finances are a thing.
Yeah.
And so I have to say no sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I should say. But like like I've sat her down before and it's like I want to see you smile.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say yes to everything that you want. I can't, but you have to understand that like the little gestures that I do that aren't remodeling the bathroom because you want a remodeled bathroom and that's too expensive for me, but like the little things that I do, like where there's flowers or where like we go out for dinner and I'm budgeting every week, but part of my budget is leaving in dinner once a week so that we can have a date together. Like the little things that you can do for a woman is so important for a man to make their woman smile.
Yeah.
I think that that's kind of what you're probably experiencing is that love that makes you want to care for her and provide for her and protect her and give her like that smile on her face. It's very important.
Yes, dude. And thank you for asking me questions, bro. No one ever asked me questions on these kind of things, bro. So thank you, dude.
You're a very interesting person.
And I think like when it comes to like me changing, seeing her happy has shown me things like she is just so innocent and so wonderful and so kind, and I want to steward that and I want to protect that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I and like when we're out somewhere, like we went to the zoo, and like it also brings those parts out of me too. Like when I'm looking at the animals, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like dope, and she's happy and she's there, and she loves me so much and she treasures me so much, and it's like second nature for her. You know what I mean?
Well, everybody has a child deep down inside that they want to never let go of because that's the innocent, most enjoyable time of your life.
Yeah.
And when you feel like you are in a safe place and your woman protects your spirit, and she is protection to your soul in a area that you can be who you are and let out that child within you. That's where kind of the true love comes from, where you can act stupid, you can listen to the dumb song,
Dude,
you
and
can
that's
watch the
exactly what
Christmas
it is,
movies,
bro.
you can enjoy decorating a tree, and it's not like pussy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like one of
No,
those
but you're
things.
right. Because, like, I used to think, like, if some girl would put some song on and I'm listening to it, I'm like, dude, I'm not.
I'm not dancing to Katy
Yeah,
Perry,
yeah,
bro.
bro. Yeah, dude, exactly, bro. But, it's tough, because we do, the long distance thing is she's at school and I'm leaving for Florida soon. So there's going to be a couple month period where we aren't going to see each other, which is tough. But, you know, even when I call her once a day, it just it's just like a default for me to be so happy when I see her. And also we play the Clash Royale together.
That rocks.
So she's like, dude, and she's better than a lot of my homies that like play. And
That's
I'm
funny.
like, yeah, dude, no, and it's dope.
It's the
No, but
coaching.
yeah, yeah, thanks. No, but she is just so wonderful, and like, not only have I grown as a man in that sense, but like my faith is so incredibly strong, dude. And going down to Florida, I feel such an incredible calling to evangelize to my coworkers. You know what I mean? And build those relationships and start to move in that direction. And I'm just really happy, dude.
Yeah, I think that probably like a feeling that you have is a purpose outside of yourself. And that
Yes.
is growing into a man, and especially with a family. The purpose gets outside of yourself because like, man, I do a manual labor job, and I got to wake up early for it. And when I wake up early and the clock starts with a 4, and it's the 5th day in a row that we've done it,
Yeah.
like there's something outside of yourself that drives you
Yes.
to go continue to do that over and over and over, because you know there are people that rely on you, and maybe you don't have a family, but you have a great girlfriend that
Mm-hmm.
relies on you, and also you have this sense deep down inside of you that your savior relies on you,
Yeah.
and he's relying on you to go evangelize to some people where you are maybe the only person in that place.
Yeah.
There's no backup. It is you.
Yeah.
You're being sent into that field. There's nothing else there.
Yeah.
Like it lives and it dies by you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can go into that with that sense of purpose, like I have the backing of Jesus Christ behind me, it gives you that drive to go do it.
Yeah, and I've also learned that the best way to do it isn't to go in with the megaphone and just condemn people. There's
Definitely not.
there's a wonderful part of it where the relationship building, but also living my own life in a way that represents Christ. I think
Yeah.
like if I was, going out with all the caddies and I was doing all these things, and when I'm in the caddy yard, if I was just scrolling on my phone instead of reading, I think people pay a lot more attention to you than you think, especially in the caddy shack where we're all just waiting together and stuff. And I think when I went down last winter, I did plant a couple seeds, and people know that I'm the Christian caddy, and I have the Christian podcast and stuff. But I think this time going around, my purpose is different. Like when I went down the first time, it was like, look, I'm going to go make some money and go to Florida and live life. But now it truly is, I'm going to do those things, and Christ is going to be the center of all my actions.
Yeah. Be a radiant beam.
And I'm
You
excited,
said
dude.
like people pay more attention to you. Like, what do you mean by that?
Like when I'm in the caddy yard and I'm sitting there and I'm reading a book, and when I talk to others, I'm always happy and I'm always in a good mood. Um, while I do think that an important part of evangelizing or making disciples or whatever you want to call it is talking to people about it, I think if I can live that life, so when I do go to talk to someone about it, they're like, wait, I'm kind of mixed up because you go and do this, like you go out and you drink and you party and you do all this stuff, but then you said that you live for Christ. Is that what Christ looks like? You know what I'm saying?
I had a pastor one time tell me a story, and he said that when he was young, he grew up in a Christian home,
Yeah.
and I was in like 5th grade. This stuck with me from then. He's like, I grew up in a Christian home, and then I got to my young adult life, and I was in my first jobs. And he said that he tried to talk to somebody about Jesus Christ. And the person came up to him, or like when he went up to him, they were like, wait, you're a Christian? And he's like, that was instantly when I dusted off my Bible.
Yeah.
And he's like, because if anybody has to ask if you're a Christian, it means that you are not setting a good
Yeah.
enough example, and you're not radiating it the way that you should.
I
You're not being
see.
a beam of light
Yes.
in that sense.
Yes. I think that's a great point. And, obviously, you know, there are a lot of people that don't love the Lord that I think live lives like that where it looks very responsible and it looks very whatever. But it's kind of like, is a rectangle a square, a rectangle, in the sense of like you can be a Christian and live a great life. Or my bad, let me start with this. You don't have to be a Christian to live a life that looks responsible, but I do think to call yourself an actual Christian, I do think that like the way that you live and the way that you outwardly show that or whatever has to follow a certain set of rules, if that makes any sense at all.
There's a difference in it. Like, part of it sounds like there's nothing wrong with being an imperfect human being.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You'll
Yes.
never be perfect. You'll never not give in to temptations. You'll never not make the wrong move here, and you'll never not make the wrong move there. But like when you intentionalize the way that you live, it looks different.
Yes.
It looks different. You're
Yes.
not of the world. You are of the Lord Jesus.
Yes, I think that's a fantastic point. I think what that makes me think of, how random is this, is do you know who Casey Neistat is? He makes the YouTube video vlogs, and he has this studio that looks very crazy. And he lives, like, a lot of the things he does is very, very, very functional. Like, but there's a aesthetic that comes from being intentional that I think is more beautiful than something that is supposed to look aesthetic first. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I think things that are made to be beautiful are fantastic, but it's when your purpose isn't the beauty first that's what makes it really great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think like living a Christ-centered life, if you keep him at the center of all your actions, instead of being like, I think like a new word that's online is like performative or whatever, instead of being, super performative in the sense of like, I want to perform, just make it a part of your everyday life all the time.
Yeah.
I kind of mix that up a little bit, but dude, I see that when you're on Instagram and stuff, you're a big commenter now. I think this is like a new thing for you on Reels.
Dude, it's probably been like a year. Like
You've been commenting on Reels,
but I don't do anything other than sit down after my daughter goes to bed and watch football and just scroll on my phone.
But I wanted to ask you about this as well. I've been spending, I'm in between seasons of work. Obviously, I start work very soon, but I've been spending a bunch of time scrolling Reels, and not only do I see your comments, but you start to go down the rabbit hole. And the rabbit hole that I've been going down is the Jewish involvement in our government, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you're familiar with this rabbit hole. I'm
I
not
am.
saying that we support this or anything and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but it gets me thinking, and it starts to really stress me out. And what I've kind of learned from this, and I want you to kind of like give your own 2 cents, is like, I talked to some of my my buddies that, love the Lord about it, and they're like, I tell them like it kind of stresses me out, or like it makes me feel a certain kind of way, and they were like, maybe it's all true, and maybe whatever, and maybe things are as bad as they actually are, or whatever, but it just gives you another opportunity to really further your faith, and you also realize how much we truly do need Jesus, because it makes me anxious, and it like stresses me out, and it does all this stuff. And I used to think like, how on earth does social media cause depression, or does it cause anxiety? But I've like gone down this rabbit hole, and then I try to go to sleep, and I'm like thinking about it, and it takes away from that sleep or whatever. Has social media ever had that kind of effect on you?
I would say, like, you mean depression?
Or just like, I don't know if you want to like take a, a diagnosis term and stick it on something, but do you think it like makes your mind run to where it affects your sleep or like it affects other parts of your life?
I think that, like, one of the biggest things is, like, obviously what you like shows up.
Yeah.
Um, I like a lot of dumb stuff.
Yeah, like really dumb. It's like
Yeah, it's like it is the deepest of memes that you can get. I like a lot of things that are advice related,
yeah.
life advice related. Pastor Philip Mitchell comes up. I
Mhm.
mean, I couldn't go
Is that the
five.
black dude?
Yes,
Yeah.
I couldn't go 5 scrolls without seeing him
Mhm.
at least once, if not more. I think that what I like plays an important part. I like funny things. Funny things come up.
Yeah.
There's a rabbit hole with the Jewish involvement in our government. The thing I'll say about this is, like, people are people. There is a
And what do you mean?
there's a biblical belief on, like, Israel, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
that is Israel, and then there are the Jewish government. And no matter what way you feel, I'm not saying I feel one way or another, but
Yeah,
no
same.
matter which way you feel, there's a government that is run by people. And so if you don't like their actions, that is part of it doesn't involve Israel being promised to them. It involves people running a Jewish government, and they're sinners.
Yes.
So if you don't like what they're doing,
It's just
It's
people
because
trying to
they're
put the
people.
pieces together.
yeah, I mean, it's evil people doing evil people things.
Yeah.
Like, there's no perfect people, and it's such a weird thing to get into. But as far as, like, something making you lose your sleep, like, I get a lot of motivation from scrolling reels.
Yeah.
I think that there are, like, I like a lot of things that are couples therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I learn a lot. I see the couples therapy from the male side and the female side, and I learn a lot about what the female side works through, and I learn a lot about what the male side works through, and I try and like that one twice so that it shows up on my fiance's
Yeah.
feed.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things that it's like, I think it just depends on what you like. Like,
Yeah.
you can get whatever you feed into it.
I need to start tailoring my feed.
Well, just don't I don't, as
I'm not
much as
saying
I
I
comment
like
on.
it, but I like watch them. Like, you know, when you just keep going,
Yeah.
I do watch them. That
Yeah,
is
be
like,
intentional about what you like, especially if you're doom scrolling, because it can
Yeah.
get bad fast. But, like, what I comment on, those show up all the time, and I like to laugh. I don't like it to be completely serious, but, like,
Yeah, I know. Remember, I think I commented on one and I was like, "Thank you for like liking this or something," because I laughed so
I do. I have
hard.
no clue what it
I
was.
forget what it was, but they're just like so stupid, dude.
Dude, I probably have like 100,000 comment likes under my Instagram because
Flex,
of
bro.
no,
Nice.
because some of this stuff, dude, like, I'll have ones that'll pop off for like 12,000 likes. I'm like, how
Really?
did? Oh yeah, I'm like, how did that happen?
That's so funny, bro. Dude, and I almost think like the comments are funnier than most of the videos, bro.
Absolutely,
my
dude. I will
gosh,
sit
dude.
there in the comments for like 30 seconds to a minute on a video.
People are so funny, bro.
People are so funny. I mean, that's part of, like, what it is, though. Like, what social media is. It's like if you use it to make you laugh, it's good for you. Sometimes I think, like, don't over waste your time on it, and I probably do. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, just use it to have a good time, and then there's
That's
also
right.
really good things on there.
Yeah. Do you think there's gonna be reels in heaven?
No, not a chance, dude. I think that heaven has a misconception.
Yeah.
I've read the Bible cover to cover one time. It was a time in my life when I was much younger, and I had to decide if this was what I wanted for my life, if this is what I believed. I don't live it out perfectly. I'm not a perfect person, but it is truly what I believe. Because when I read it cover to cover, I saw what it talks about in our lives. I think that So,
When we get upstairs.
yeah, when we go to heaven, I think that the things that we worry about, at least from my understanding of reading it once, the things that we worry about here just aren't important. Like, I've been asked multiple times, like, do you think you'll know your dad in heaven? I think I might know my dad in heaven, but I don't think I'll know him as my dad. Because I think that we get there and we are, and I could be completely wrong. This is just my interpretation of what I've read.
Yeah.
I think that we get there and we want things to look like Earth, and intentionally it's not.
Yeah.
And
It could look so different. Like, we couldn't even look like humans. You know what I mean?
possibly not.
I know we're made in, like, his image and
But it's
stuff,
a new
but,
heaven
like,
and a new Earth.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's painted out to be kind of like an Earth, but streets paved with gold,
Yeah.
milk and honey, which was a sign of luxury, and you couldn't get milk and honey if you were poor. And when the Bible was written, and so I think that maybe I won't know him as my dad, but I will embrace him as we are both here as brothers and sisters in Christ, and I'll love him the same but different.
Yeah. Only one way to find out. I think, like, the Bible doesn't give us every last bit of what heaven is going to look like, and I do think that's very much on purpose. I was talking with my buddy about this, and I think if there was a book in the Bible and it gave you every last little detail of what heaven's like and what it's going to be and all this stuff, I think with our human fleshly ideas, we'll start to be like, okay, so we can imagine this, and I bet we can create something like this and maybe even try to do it better. And I think, like, the mystical part behind heaven, it
That was done in the Bible. People tried to reach heaven by creating a tower,
yes,
and God knocked it down.
yeah. And I think, like, you know, the reason it isn't perfectly every last little bit detail is given to us is just to let us be like, this is better than anything that we could ever imagine. And it gives us a chance to further our faith that we trust God in that, instead of saying we need to know every last little bit of what our life looks like on the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think that
do you think there's golf in heaven?
no,
So we can't go golfing together?
but I hope so.
Dude, I hope so, bro.
It's hard to tell.
I don't know. I've thought about this a lot, and, like, all good things come from the Lord. And, like,
But would you care? This is my question about things like this. Will you care when you get to heaven and you get to worship at the feet of the altar and you get to be in the presence of God, which is biblically written out in multiple places as the greatest thing that you can experience?
Yeah.
Will you care about going and shooting around a golf and getting mad that you shot a 72 instead of a 70 because you missed two putts within 5 feet?
I think
Probably not.
I think one, my I mean, this is self-proclaimed. My faith in Jesus is very great right now. And when I get to heaven, it's going to be fantastic. But I think, you know, obviously the fleshly, like, funny part of Avery is, like, dude, like, I hope, like, the Rubik's Cube is up there, and I hope, like, you know, Clash Royale is up there. And
Of course. Absolutely.
But like you said, I think a lot of things that we see as important or worry about here on Earth.
I think that, like, not a lot of things. I think, like, if it's not 100% of everything that we truly care about, like, here, it's 99% of it. Because you think about the things that fill your mind. What do you care about day to day? All right, do I got to get to my job?
Mm-hmm.
Crap, something went wrong on my car. How much is it going to cost? Holy crap, I slammed my hand with a finger that hurts. That's not going to be there.
Yeah.
Like 99% of the things that we worry about and we care about here are not going to be there.
Is Daniel going to send me his daily nude that he always does? You know what I mean?
Every day I would never miss.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know. I get nervous because sometimes it comes later
Sometimes it comes later.
than it usually does. You know what I mean? Dude, you know, obviously last time we sat down, your daughter was 5 months old. She's about a year older now. What incredible things have you learned or seen or just, like, admired in that space? And when I
learn.
and when I call it like a space, like please don't be like offended by some terminology that it's like just a space or whatever. Like it's a
I got you.
beautiful divine thing that is absolutely wonderful.
No, I know, I got you.
Yeah.
Trust me, I wouldn't. I think that you realize that the what the Bible talks about becomes truer and truer every day about people and about human beings. And I mean that like in Proverbs 22, and it spans down to 29. It talks about evil is bound up in the heart of a child, but it's the rod of correction that flees that.
Mm-hmm.
And you begin to see that in the child that you love and you hold, and you're like, I love you so much, so dearly.
Like she gets angry.
You're perfect, but you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You defy everything that I tell you. You know what the word no is.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go back to the thing that says that I say no to
Uh-huh.
because it's fun, because I'll chase you up the stairs, because I'll pull you off the chair before you climb onto the table,
Mm-hmm.
because I will stop you from climbing onto the end table. You start to realize that human beings are human beings from the start.
Mm-hmm.
And sinful flesh is here from the start. And you have to take on a responsibility, and you have to realize that, are you going to be the nice parent? Are you going to be the mean parent? Or are you going to be somewhere in between? But somewhere in between is realizing that I love you to death and I want you to be perfect, but you are not.
Yeah.
From before you can speak words, you're not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And how do I correct that out of you? Because in Proverbs 29, it says that the rod of correction flees evil from the child's heart, but a child left to himself, and it says himself, becomes a disgrace to their mother. And so if you leave a child to themselves,
Yeah.
they can become a disgrace to their parents, or in the Bible's terms, their mother, which is
Yeah.
the ones at the time that were raising them.
Born sinner. You know what I mean?
Born sinner.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the hard part about being a parent. Is doing the hard things, smacking the hand, spanking the butt when it's needed, and you see the cry, or like even when it doesn't come down to that, when she wants up the stairs and the gate isn't up, so I pull her off the stairs and I bring her down the stairs, and then I put up the gate and she realizes she can't get up there anymore.
Yeah.
That causes a cry, like in dealing with those hard things, because born a sinner you are, like and it just is part of human nature, and that's one of the hard parts. The fun parts is everything else, like literally everything.
That's cool though, like seeing like the talk in the Bible and then seeing it like when the rubber hits the road of like in person.
Well, not
raising
even
another
like in
people.
person, like not before they're 13 and they're going through puberty, or they want to do all the fun things that their friends are doing, and you have to steer them away from. Not from that point.
Mm-hmm.
From 1 year old, you can walk and you know what you can get into. You know what you can't get into. You know what I'm not going to let you get into. You're going to go intentionally do that.
Yeah.
Like we have all these play remotes. She knows exactly which ones don't operate the TV. She wants the one that you're using.
Yeah.
And she can't have it because she'll turn the TV into another language that you've never seen before. And you're like, no, you can't have that because you're just going to sit there and press all the buttons. Well, that's the ones that she wants.
Yeah.
And so seeing that from a year old it truly is eye-opening to human nature. Like, they just want to do what they're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so parenting them out of that, and it never ends, but parenting them out of that is part of your duty as a parent. And a lot of people don't want to deal with the hard part of that, the crying, the discipline of that. It's time for bed. You're not going to go to bed for mom, so dad's coming to get you, and he's putting you in your crib, and he's walking out of the room.
Yeah.
And you're going to be upset with that, but I'll be back in 5 minutes later. I know you're protected. I know you're safe. I know all like your stomach is full. You're taken care of, but you're just mad at this thing because you don't want to go to bed. Well, doing the hard part isn't very fun, but if you do not correct your child, again, the Bible says in Proverbs 29 that they will become a disgrace to their mother. And so you have to take on a parenting philosophy from an early age and accept that and move forward with it.
Yeah. No, I think that's I think that's awesome. Before we get into all the good things, um, does that ever scare you? Like the one thing they talk about is, they say spare the rod, spoil the child, but then if you overparent, then that shows itself in certain ways down the road and all that stuff. Does that kind of mind game where you're trying to like stay in the gray area and balance it out and let them learn their own lessons and all that stuff, does that ever make you nervous, or do you think about that?
I'm not really dealing with that yet
Mm-hmm.
because, like, they do say, like, as much as, like, I worry about my kid, like, I got made fun of one time when she was very young
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't know how to hold her.
Yeah.
And that was tough on me, but I also realized that this was the first baby I've ever held,
Yeah.
and it's my own. But I carried her around like a glass vase that was important to the family that's been passed down for 5 generations.
Yeah.
And then you realize that that worry becomes even greater when they get to 16 years old, and then you worry about them like drunk driving, or you worry about them going out and doing like the worst of the
Yeah.
worst things, and then they have more freedom. My mom told me that. She's like, listen, everything that you worry about right now, like you are allowed to worry about it. It's fair.
Mm-hmm.
But notice that these are small things and it does get worse. And so you need to prepare yourself for that. So I'm not really in that. But as far as like the gray area, I think that it's like, I think that you have to put your foot down where your foot needs to be put down. The stove's hot.
Yeah.
If I need to smack your hand because you're trying to like reach up on the stove and grab the knobs,
Mm-hmm.
I'm smacking your hand, period.
Yeah.
And you will listen to me when I say no, because that is something that can cause you harm.
Yeah.
When it's you're climbing up on the table, sure, you could fall, but I caught you.
Yeah.
I caught you before you got to a place where you could fall.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to grab you and I'm going to pull you off the table and I'm going to set you down in another room. And you're
Mm-hmm.
going to have to go back into that room and climb back on the table to do it. But you probably forgot about the table anyways.
Yeah.
So, yes, if you overparent, it can be hard. And I'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that answer yet.
Yeah.
But as far as like when we go out into the yard, you need to know when I say no, you stop, because then you start playing a game that is dangerous. If we're out in the yard and I say no and you're not trained to listen to me, what happens when I'm saying no because you're climbing into the bushes and you're not listening to me, and that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's not fair, but that's fun. What happens when you're too close to the road and I see a car coming, but
Yeah.
you're not trained to listen to my no?
Yeah.
You could run out in front of that car. So
Yeah.
there is a balance, but
Mhm.
like you also have to train them to know that I have your best interest in mind. And even though my daughter doesn't fully understand things, like she can say words and things like that, but
Mhm.
I will, from before she can understand it completely, when I put her in her crib and she's crying at night, I will go up to her before I get her out of the crib and she's crying because she
Mhm.
won't go to bed. I will walk up to her and I'll sit next to her crib and I will say, I love you, and rub her back. And she
Yeah.
wants out of the crib and she'll still cry because she's reaching for me because she wants out of the crib.
Yeah.
I love you. I love you. Just know this is for you.
Yeah.
And so I think that like probably this is me speaking out ahead of parenting, but I'm
Mhm.
trying to lay the foundation. Probably if you instill an understanding of this is love,
Yeah.
and I do this because I love you and I know what's best for you, and you probably don't know what's best for you because you're a year and a half,
Yeah.
you'll get the results that you want. And then you also trust in the Lord and you raise them in with an understanding that there's a Father that loves them above me,
Yeah.
that he will do the work with them and with you,
Mhm.
and work in their minds and give them an understanding that you come from a good place.
Yeah. I think that's I like the part at the end where, even if you don't do it quite perfect, you have a God that
Never
is
will.
that is all powerful
Absolutely.
and does have their best interests in mind, and
And we'll
Yeah.
work within them
yes.
to show them that, maybe you don't like what your parents are teaching you
Yeah.
or the way that they're doing it, but they do have your best interest in mind, and,
Yeah.
and pray that God works in the back of their mind and gives them that understanding.
Yeah. And I believe that'll happen. I mean, it happened with us, so it might happen to someone else. I mean, we're kind of stupid, but
Everybody is.
yeah.
Nobody's not stupid.
Yeah. What's the best part of it, dude? Is it like the bath time, or is that the worst part?
No, that's probably, well, it's one of the best parts because I give her the bath every night.
Yeah.
Except for like if I'm not home. Like I work late on Fridays, so I don't give her a bath.
Yeah.
For the most part, I do. That's a very good time. She loves it. That's
Yeah.
why it's the best time.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta like get into clothes that you don't plan on wearing for the rest of the night because she's just splashing around and blah blah blah. So that's very fun.
That's awesome, dude.
Probably the best part is she's really into books now. So she'll come up to you, book, and like she'll give
Really?
you a book, and you open it to the pages that she knows, and like it's all these little pictures and stuff. She'll point at them, and like,
Yeah.
you'll teach her, but like the ones that you get to that she knows, deer, ball, like things like that. That's very fun. The best part is coming home from work. Like I talked about earlier, when you don't have the motivation to do it, but you do it anyways because you have an outside purpose
Yeah.
to provide for people that you love. When you get home and she hears the door open and you just hear the feet stomping and she got dada. Like
Yeah.
that part's super fun.
That's
and
so
it happens
cool, dude.
happens all the time. It's
Yeah.
it's super cool. I mean, there's a million good parts about it. I fully recommend it.
Yeah.
It's the best thing in the world.
Yeah. I know last time we talked to like maybe we could be like brothers in that, but I'm starting to miss my window for having a kid, so
You're starting to miss your window?
I mean, like for our kids to grow up together. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, I'm not done yet.
So all right, good.
I'm not done yet.
Dude, that's so awesome, dude. I think like, you know, the title of our episode, or the first one is Time to Man Up, because of the circumstance and all that stuff, and it just makes me so happy that you can start to see the fruitful side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the fruitful side of it came from, like, but even before the last time we talked, I mean, I spoke on the fruitful side. It was much different than now, but
Yeah.
like, the fruitful side, and it comes in waves. And I think that, like, one of the biggest things I've actually learned, this is probably the most important thing that I've learned, is every parent you talk to that's on the other side, that, like, their kids are either late high school or college, like, they're on the other side, and they've raised them, and they start to be like they look at you and like they try and plant these seeds in your mind, and it's like, she's 5 months. Oh, wait till she's a year, and those diapers, they're way bigger and they smell way worse. Or then they get to a year and it's like, oh, wait till she's 2 and she's talking and you can't get them to shut up. Or when they're 2, like, oh, you think they run around now? Oh, you just like, and it's constantly like this doomsday prepping for the next for the next season. And like, if like the thing that I've learned and the thing that I've been most adamant about in being a father is my dad passed. I every day think about how much my dad would love my daughter. He never got to meet her. How much my daughter would love my dad. There is somebody who is very important to me in this world that is not getting to experience this in every season that it is. And if I sit here and I wish away one because the diapers smell too bad and they're too big, and they're running around, and I wish that away till they're 2, and then when they're 2 and they're talking back, wishing it away till they're 5 and they're nice and pleasant and they want to listen to you, or like any of that, like I will not wish away any of it, not one stage, because every one of them is tough in their own way. But like, I look now and I'm chasing her around the house for every second of the day. And I wish that part of me wants to go back to the time where she was 3 months old and you could sit her down and she would just like hang out there and you could sit next to her and do whatever.
Yeah.
But when I was in that, I was like, oh my gosh, I want her to get older so I don't break her like a glass vase.
Yeah.
And so if you wish it away, like, yeah, you'll get past what's hard about this part, but then you'll move on to the next hard part that probably is even a little bit harder. And so, like, when I imagine when she's 12 and if she wants to play sports and I have to be the one driving her around to every sports game after work, like, oh, I wish she was 16. Once she's 16 and she's out, And like it's like you're fighting her because she doesn't want to come home because she's
Yeah.
with her friends. You want to go back to where she's 12 and you have full control.
Yeah.
So if you wish away things, you will miss out on the best parts of everything. And so I'm adamant on the fact that I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. I love that, dude. That's awesome. It's the perspective. You know what I mean? And I think I think that point stands with all areas of life. You know what I mean? I think it's so easy to be cynical and not, it's so easy to critique, but I think if one thing I've learned in these past couple years of really, really, really following Christ, there's always an incredible silver lining. You know what I mean? No matter what happens, you know what I mean? And obviously you can think of things and I can think of things and so many people can think of things of like, is there really a silver lining to this and all that stuff? And, I think, will we ever truly understand God's plan? No, but there's a beauty behind it that, maybe we don't know yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, are you talking about how, like, when you knuckle down and you follow Christ, the silver lining being like what you don't understand yet?
Yes, or
Like you giving up the flesh of you.
mm-hmm. I think a great example is like I went to a church retreat recently in the past 2 weeks, and in my group we got really close and incredibly vulnerable, but it allowed us to connect better and glorify God in that space. And I think with a lot of suffering, in the moment, it it hurts like hell, literally. But I think later in life, it allows you to reach others and relate others and grow relationships with others and glorify God through that. We had a conversation, Daniel, that maybe it's someone in your family or whatever, and I don't want to give names or whatever, but you told me about how like they were on the other side of the political spectrum and they were so in all of you saying like, look, maybe we don't agree with all the same things, but you keeping your daughter is a incredible, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
show of your faith and where you actually stand. You know what I mean? And like, in the sense of like, you guys don't agree at all. You know what I mean? But through that disagreement, it shows him even, I don't know.
It was
You could justify every bad thing happens for a reason and good things come from that if you
yeah,
look at it the right way.
yeah, it was this cousin. Just part of me thinks it the way that I don't believe. On the other side of, I guess, how I believe lacks accountability. And that was what they said to me. They're like, you a lot of times say that the hard thing is necessary, but you stuck to it when it got hard. Like you're having a
Yeah.
kid and you're not getting rid of that kid when maybe that would be the easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And so they just said that, like, I admire that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I
I
remember
don't
what
know.
you're talking about.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. But that's, yeah. I'm just making like a bad point. Whatever.
I'm following you.
I'm here for you. I love you, bro.
Love
Have
you
you been
too.
playing lots of golf? It's cold now, obviously.
Yeah, no, I won my golf league
Nice.
in early August.
Was it like close? Like was it like a chip off or like you made like a bomb to win the whole thing or like
No, it was so how it works is there's 10 teams in the league.
yeah.
So there's 9 weeks. Like I play the other 9 teams. Me and my brother,
Yeah.
we're a team. And we play them like all the other 9 teams in the league. That's the first half. Whoever wins the first half wins their bid to the 18-hole playoff at the very end of the year.
Mhm.
Then they play against the second half winner.
Yeah.
So we won the second half. We came in second in the first half, second or third. I think it was second. And then we just mashed the first half winner
Yeah.
in the playoff.
Nice.
Absolutely mashed them.
You played a great
Played
Right off.
horrible. I
Yeah.
had at the time a herniated disc in my back, and I was on steroids,
Yeah, that doesn't help the game at
muscle
all.
relaxers. I was swinging maybe 70%, like maybe 70%
Was the
backswing.
face open and you would just like,
It wasn't slicing too bad because I had
yeah,
no distance on my ball.
yeah.
Like it was slow back and slow through, like I was an old man playing from the women's tees. But I mean, I held my own, and then my brother just kicked butt.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, it was fun.
That's sweet, dude. Yeah. I will say at the church retreat that I was at, they had like a golf thing. It was like a 4-man scramble. But the team that I was on won by 9
A million,
strokes.
which
9
is a
strokes.
million.
Dude, I feel like every time we play, I'm never at my best. And then when I'm not with you, I play my best, and I'm like, I wish Dan was here to see me.
Which is so funny because every time I play with you, which is why I love playing with you, I play at my best,
Dude,
like,
and I
by
just-
far.
I
But
just,
I think you're
like-
probably very focused on me. You're a great dude. You are a great caddy and a great teacher, and that's why I love playing with you, because I could be in any situation. It's like, all right, do this, get out of it.
Yeah, but dude, I wish you would have been there, because you would have been like, you know what? He's actually he can kind of walk
Even
the
when-
walk just a little bit.
Well, dude, even like you're shooting like mid to low 70s when I'm playing with you, it feels like, and it's like,
I don't know. Still, I just like.
maybe not. But like, it's been a while since we've played, but like
Yeah.
the last time I played with you, you broke easily broke 80.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that to me is like,
Yeah, that's true.
like you scoff
That's
at that,
right.
but like
That's
you're
right.
a
I
very
remember
good
that.
golfer. Like even
Yeah.
on your worst rounds, you're blowing people out of the
Actually,
water.
that is true. I do remember when we played at Firestone in the fall, and I actually played okay. I felt really good about that.
Yeah, you
Okay,
played a
then-
really good back.
Yeah.
Really good back.
Yeah, I think I shot like 33 or
Yeah,
34.
yeah,
on
you
the
played
back,
an
something like
amazing
that.
back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, dude, I wanted to tell you this about caddying and all this stuff is I've come to this incredible realization of like my purpose going down to Florida has changed completely, and it is fully revolved around Christ. And one of the things that I have really thought about so much is the 80 years that we have here pales in comparison to the eternity that we have with Christ. And one of the conclusions that I came to is, and I don't know if God would want this to be the case or whatever, but if there's a world where I caddy for the rest of my life, whatever, there's a verse in the Bible, and I need to get better ripping scripture like some of my buddies do.
Very powerful.
And you do, because you can just tell exactly where it is and stuff. But like, what is seen great in the eyes of the Lord is seen as foolish to the rest of the world, or whatever, if you kind of get what I'm saying and stuff. And I think like one of the things my pastor said at the retreat is he's like, I'm going to be honest with all you, my wife makes more than me. And as a man, him saying that and putting his pride to the side and being like, look, I'm not the household financial provider, like that takes guts to even air that out in front of so many people. You know what I mean? And I feel like with my purpose going down to Florida this season, if God wants me to caddy for the rest of my life, then that's what my life looks like. And if he wants me to go somewhere else, and if he wants me to do all this stuff, then that's what it's going to be. You know what I mean? And I think what makes Delaney so wonderful is she supports me no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is I used to be with girls, and I used to like make the content and stuff, not like, as much as I did now. And it wasn't like, the podcast, and they'd be like, you need to like grow up, and you need to do all this stuff, and you need to whatever. But like, she watches the podcast, which I've never had.
Which rocks.
Her mom watches the podcast, and then they'll send me stuff about episodes, which is awesome.
Feedback, yeah.
And they support me, and they love me so much, dude. And I'm so blessed, and I'm so happy, and I'm so Christ-driven in my life. And I've realized that if you really do just focus on God, success in all the other areas of life comes as a byproduct.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, I mean, I think that having the support of, like I remember when I was growing up, my dad, when I was very young, made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then at some point, he decided that he was going to pursue something else. And it wasn't something that he was great at, but he wanted to work for himself.
Yeah.
And my mom supported him. And then right down towards the end of his life, he kind of went back to what he was really good at, and was in sales, and started making more money. But either way, in that in between time, my mom showed support to him, and the way that my dad adored my mom was important because she had a financial burden that he didn't want her to have, but she supported him doing this thing that he wanted to make successful. And so having the support of the person that you love, and especially the peace of coming home to a spiritual protection from the woman that you love is very hard to find. But when you have it, it's super, super cool. And
Yeah.
so maybe for that guy, like the pastor that you were talking about, um, he has that. And
Yeah.
she knows, his wife knows that, like, okay, maybe you're not making more money than me, but why does that matter when you're going out
And
and
that's
you're
what's truly
impacting
important.
lives?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. And I think like,
And he wouldn't be as good at impacting other lives if he did not have the backing at home of his partner.
yeah, yeah,
And that's
no.
very important as
Yeah, no,
well.
and that's like, I don't know if like a level of comfortability is the word, like being comfortable and stuff, but I just know she's always gonna support me, which is so sick, so sick. And I've never had that, and it gives me the confidence to like, not just, I mean, like obviously, I'll think more about what I do and put out and stuff like that, but it's like with the confidence that the Lord gives me to go and live for Him and do all that stuff is so incredibly significant. And when I have her in my corner as well, it's just like, I can't lose, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you have a pure heart about what you do and what you're pursuing, like obviously you say, like, I know she'll support me no matter what. That's not true. But she'll support you when you have a pure heart, and like when you're following things that, like, maybe like
Yes.
this.
Okay. Yes.
But like she would support you going out and becoming a drug addict.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's when you attack things in your life and you have a pure heart and you have pure intention, and it's you're pursuing something that you love, and you know that it could become a platform to you to create a greater goal, like broadcasting Jesus into the world. If you
Yeah.
have a podcast, it's very easy to do that.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get the podcast. It's very easy to do it once you have it. And so, like, when you have that intention and you're down the straight and narrow road, she should support you doing that. And it's fantastic to hear that she does.
Yes. One of the sermons that we heard at church in the past couple weeks or something, and it's about how like how your maturity changes as you follow Christ, and in the sense of like when you go from like being really tough and like, oh, I don't do these certain things and I don't find joy in the little things because I'm, you know what I mean, I focus on the protection and all this stuff. And our pastor kind of talked about like the older you get, the more you kind of realize how beautiful God's whole thing is, and it and you become more joyful. And like, you know, those old people that love the Lord, that are like loud and they're fun and they're crazy and they're awesome. I think that's what true trust in God's plan looks like, because I feel like it should almost be the opposite of like, you know, you're close to being, you know, in the ground and all that stuff, so maybe you'd be a little more upset. But I do think that like lately in my life, just so much joy and finding joy in things that I used to think were so stupid, and like the little things are so much more beautiful than they ever were before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's
I'm like rambling and stuff, but
that's part of what this is.
yeah, true.
It's a child's like heart
Yeah.
for Jesus, and we're all children of God. And when you really tap into that, I think that you do. Like my grandma was the greatest example of that.
Yeah.
The sitting about amen like that, like she and just laugh at everything and scream at everything. Like she was a child's like heart,
Yeah.
and she loved Jesus
Yeah.
with, I mean, every cell in her body. And I think that we're all children of God, and I think that that's part of what comes out of you when you tap into that.
Yeah. And I think it's awesome.
And it's very easy to be the other side of that, the old person that's stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
You see that more often than you don't. Like, oh, they're so cute. That's an old person. It's like, well, you don't know what 80 years of building these walls brought.
Yeah.
You have no clue what's behind those doors.
Yeah.
So I think that, I mean, you can get both, but I think that it's a testimony to following the Lord, that when you live it out, you look different.
Yes.
And that's like you radiate a different light.
And I'm happy, dude. Like I'm always going to have light at the end of my tunnel. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No
No
matter what happens to you.
Life is really great, dude.
Absolutely.
Dude, thank you. I didn't really have anything else planned.
Sounds good.
Daniel, if there's anything else you want the two people still listening to know, what
There'll
is
be
it?
more than that.
All right, 3. And then say some like random person's name. So like maybe they have like a coming to God moment. Like, you know what I mean?
Like any random person?
Like just like random name.
Steven.
Steven, what's up?
What's up, Steven?
Let them know what's good.
Jesus loves you.
Yeah. And that's it. That's awesome, dude.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, I love you, bro. I'm gonna miss you. And I know we don't hang out, but like I feel like being farther away from you, I can like feel it in my soul.
It makes you want to call me more.
It does.
That's all we need.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It's just you're awesome and you're such a brother. You're such an awesome guy that I can always go to, and like when I think of like some of my best friends, like you're in that list.
You never heard a discouraging word from me when you were in Florida and all of that. And all I did was encourage you to be there. Be there, be where God wants you to be. Keep going with his plan. Keep going with the plan that he has for your life. You want to, like, you bring these ideas for content, do them.
Yeah.
Like, you have such a unique mind that can be utilized. And if you allow it to be utilized and you stay on track and you stay motivated, you're going to do great things, and that's part of why I love you.
Thank you, bro. It means so much to me, dude. Like, you know, there's a lot of people that want to see me win in my corner, but you're one of the guys that, like, constantly reminds me of that.
I hope to always be.
Yeah. You're awesome, dude.
Blessings.
Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.
Let's see what I got here, dude. I haven't, like, updated my soundboard in, like, forever. Oh, dude. Wait, I'm going to hit you with
Get some Ella Langley on here.
I don't know who that is, bro. Dude, I'm going to hit you with this fire one, and then you're going to have to tell me what it's from. I want to see if you can get it. Dude, is it on here? Dang, I don't think I... Oh, wait, no.
Like a movie.
Here it is. All right. You recognize this, and I know you know what this is from. I played this in another episode recently for another buddy. And it's so
Is it
fire.
from a video? No, it's
It
not.
is.
Okay.
It is from a video game, like an incredibly popular video
Like,
game.
I recognize it.
Like, it's one of, like, the most popular video games of all time.
Dude, it's not Mario, but it's annoying me that I keep thinking it's Mario.
It's a Mario.
I'm not going to get it.
Dude, yes you are, bro.
No.
This is the
Super Mario?
This is the track selection screen from Mario Kart, on the Wii.
I was going to say Super Mario Kart. That is annoying.
Dude, but like, isn't this so fire?
If I would have just went with my gut, I would have been so right.
Yeah, dude. Like they don't make stuff like this anymore.
This bangs.
It does bang. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been 2G1C with my homie Daniel. Thanks for being here, and big things are on the way.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We will see you guys next time.